What's up? I always start like that, man. That's partially because I'm a little bit nervous because I haven't been doing some videos in a while. I'm actually going to turn off my phone right now. So if anybody tries to message me, you won't. So turn off my phone so we can do this cool live. Well, listen, if you are just joining me, my name is Mike Toledo. I've been doing paintless dent repair for 2.5 decades. And it's been a wild ride, shall I say. It's been cool. I got a podcast with Joe Garcia, and the future, we're going to talk about decades, right? You've been in the business a long time. You've seen the like how PDR has changed, like from the communication to the interactions to the pricing to the capabilities, obviously. And that's what you're about to see too here is some of the latest tools that we're going to be talking about. And it's mainly these tools right here. It looks like one of my cameras just went out here too. So hold on just a second, okay? Hold on. Can you guys hear me okay? I'll wait for you guys' input. But I actually unplugged one of my cameras and I just want to make sure it's plugged back in. All right, so give me a second here. You guys can chit chat among yourselves. Let's see. There we go. Yeah. I think we're almost there. This is what I wanted to show you guys here. I want to show you this. Let me get it centered for you guys. So these are the tools that we're going to be using. And let's see who's in the house before we get in there. What's going on? I'm not going to try to pronounce anybody's names I don't know how to. Dent, Evo, Joe Garcia, my homeboy, my partner in crime right there. Check him out, dentevo.com. We just built his new site, so go take a look at his site, man. It's freaking badass. We're going to talk about that too on a podcast. Maximo, how you doing, dude? And what's up, Mike? Good to see you, buddy. Thanks, Robert. Appreciate you back, man. Robert Hummel there. And Robert, we can hear you just fine. Cool. I'm just good. Thank you for the feedback, dude. Thank you. There you go. Now you guys can see me. Just making sure. So we're going to talk about paintless dent repair and the tools, and then we're going to do a demonstration behind me. We got a tank that, let's just see if I can get good at that. You can see a nice dent right there. I did take the emblem off, and I used fishing wire to take that off in case you guys aren't, but you can see that we want to preserve his emblem. So we're going to get this flat, and it should go over there pretty nicely. But it did get bent a little bit, so we're going to go into some of those details here. And if you guys don't mind, you guys can take a look at that, or maybe you want to take a look at the tools here. How's that? Let's take a look at the tools. I'm going to close this door because I hear a lot of noise, and I don't want that noise coming in. This is one thing about live. All right, my tech's out there though. He's working. This is my other setup. Okay, just a little bit further screen here. We're gonna give you lots of point of views on fixing it. This is a strong arm suction cup. It's automatic suction cup, so it's staying on here very, very tight. I'm gonna use some heat to heat up the steel on these tanks because it is a lot more thicker than your average steel panel on a vehicle. I like using the Porta-Cable heat gun because it's got a dial right here on the side that I can really control the heat. I do have a heat thermometer that's going to measure how hot this tank is. I generally don't like to get it hotter than 140 degrees, at least consistent hotness. I'll keep that turned down. So once I get it to the temperature I want, I'll turn it down. It'll sustain probably around 120 degrees, somewhere around 130. So that's basically where I want. Then I give it a break. I don't keep it constant heat because that could, technically what happens is that if you heat it too much on a tank constantly, what it does is it lifts the primer, right? It detaches, delaminates, and it looks like a bubble, like a blister almost underneath the paint. And then, well, pretty much c'est la vie. Right. So we're not going to do it in this session. Okay. As you can tell, I have a little bit more experience for one reason or another. Let's see what we got. So here we go. We're going to talk about the tools again. All right, as you guys can tell, I've got variations of tools. These are Daniel Grom's tools. And at the time when I got them, they were from Ultra Dent Tools. All right, so this is Ultra Dent Tools Daniel Grom set. The only one that's custom, well, actually there's two of them. There's this one right here, these two right here. This is more of the, besides a motorcycle tank, I think any PDR tech should have this. What this is a 5/8 thick tool, right? About 27 inches in length, right? 27 inches in length. I like this one because there's absolutely no chance of having any flex in this. None at all. The other thing is this is another custom tool, which I definitely think anyone should have too. It's got about 2-inch kick on there. And then what we do is there's a plate, we took the fuel injection out, right? And where the fuel pump goes and everything. So we took that out, and then we have this template that goes in there and around the fuel opening and the collar, and it snaps in there. It's a little bit tight, but we're gonna make sure it works. And then I take the tool with the tip and I slide it in, and that's how I get my leverage, just like that, okay? So this is cool. They have these. Now, here's the deal. Daniel Grom's going to have a set now at Anson, so it's going to look very similar to this. This is the Ultra one. This is the Anson. Very similar to this. You're going to have a handle. You can do the T-handle. They got a new system here. It's kind of like a magnetic, almost like a socket, right? Pretty cool. And so you can actually build your lengths of handles how you want. It's pretty genius. It's actually from Dent Vision, and I think it's Hudson too as well. I think he has his fingers dipped into this too. So, but very ingenious. I like it. Super easy, and it sticks on there with a magnet. All right, so that is Daniel Grom's got some sets. I know they already got tools on the Anson. Otherwise, I would have them. I don't have them. I just have the Ultra. Hopefully, down in the future, I'll get some of the Anson version of the Daniel Grom motorcycle tanks. Now, here's some things that I get a lot of questions on, like my motorcycle tanks. What tips are you using? So I use these tips here. And so I'll tell you why. Is before I get into that, I want to show you this one right here. This one by far is one of my favorite tips. Don't mind my nail polish on my fingers. I was marking a pencil, or excuse me, paint on a car. But anyways, if you can get with this, I'll just do this. That way my fingers aren't so distracted. This right here is a lead tip. Now, what I like about the lead tip is that I can push. It's like a soft tip, but it molds into the dent without causing high spots. There's absolutely, really no way you're going to make pock marks. Now you can make high spots, but they're not detrimental. And this absorbs the push and then is still strong enough. And guess what? You can use it under high heat and it won't slip unless you're really being a ding dong and you're not really paying attention. Okay. So I'm going to make sure to I'm checking out everything right here, like while we're looking at the specials in Belf, South Carolina. Yeah, right on, Robert. That's right. I do remember that. He has the same toolkit. Awesome. Dent Evo. I work out of the yellow smart car. Cool. Yep. Daniel Grom. So I talked to Daniel Grom a lot, to be honest with you guys. So matter of fact, we are going to show his setup over here. If you haven't obviously checked it out, this is his setup. Let me do a walk around here, and that way you guys can decide for yourself, all right, and see if this is something that you would get. Okay, so here is, like I said, this is very, fix that light here. This is really cool for suction cup your heat gun or whatever you're going to use. This works fantastic for me. But here is the latest Daniel Grom vice stand. Now you can get this at dentdynamics.net. You can also get it at Anson. So Anson's is carrying this too. Here's how I have this light. I'm going to show you different options. For this option, I'm using the Dent light because it's got a Medusa here, and I hook it on to this right here, and these swing around if I want. And then I have the Medusa connected to the light and the battery on the other side. So it marries the battery, the light, and it gives it somewhere to mount to. I can easily move it around, and I can switch the slots. It's got a bunch of different LEDs. Where now you see the blue, I can switch it to all white, but it's also got a slot holder. You pull this off, and you can put different lenses in here. Okay, sorry, it's a little bit kind of blowing it out, but you can put different lenses. This stand rotates. I've also got a support area here, so there's no flex when I'm really pushing down hard on the tank, so it's not going to deflect too much on there. Besides, this stand is very, very sturdy. And it rotates, like I said, and how I have it, because this is awesome. It saves my back. So this is kind of a look. And this is, we're mounting the tank like that. So it gives you hopefully a little bit better insight of how this is all done. And here's the other side. Kind of lifts it up. All right. It's pretty interesting, isn't it? So I'm going to go over a little bit more tools in a second. Just switch this over here. That way, you guys can, if you have any more questions before I get started, but I'm going to start turning on the heat gun. And then we can go. So I got to plug it in first. Yeah, I got my extension cord here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. This is not going to be a wham bam thing. You guys, you can go get lunch. I'll probably still be here. But the whole purpose of this, ladies and gentlemen, is just to show that anybody who's watching this or wants to end up watching this is going to understand that PDR is, it's like plastic surgery, right? Especially tanks. You're not just going to sit there and whip it out unless you're very, very, very good at what you do and you know these tanks left and right. And I do, but it's still going to take time. So I'll hold it. I usually have it right there on the center area. And I take this right here. There you go. This is a snap-on. You don't have to have a snap-on heat reader. Yeah, cool. It's already getting at 109 right now. Cool. So while that's heating up, let's talk about the tools again. Let me see if you guys have any questions. Cool. Yeah, Todd. Now, would it be a good chance to buy a good bike? Somebody must know. I'm always selling a bike, dude. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's true. That is true, though. Do you use the wood tip exclusively on tanks? I don't. I was just showing everybody too earlier that I use this tip generally. Now, I do use the wood tips for finishing or getting to the nooks and crannies at the end. So this is what I use right here. I'm going to use a much thicker rod, though. And as far as tapping down, okay, this tip that since VIP just came out with, it's a little bit thicker than their plastic VIP Mamba before. This is a thicker version. You probably want to see it a little bit better. All right, it's very, very good, and it's got a thick base. I like it a lot. And the tip is sensational for motorcycle tanks because it's not going to scratch it. It's not going to divot it unless you're not very careful. But this is a great tap down tip. If you're going for the fine nitty gritties, I use This one right here. This is the Galaxy tip right here. And there's different versions that they have. This is also the shock blocker from Dent Vision. You can also get it at Anson. And you can put a cap over it too. Going back to the tips here, is that here's that wood tip that I use. I do use the wood tip a lot for creases. I use this for finishing, but I have to be very, very careful because that's plastic, you'll slip. This is a VIP, it gets grippy. It's really good for that too, pushing. And then the latest one right here, the dice tip right here. Right, this is one of the latest ones from Dent Vision. It is squishy, it works awesome. I might not use that right now. I haven't used it a lot, especially under high heat, so I'm not gonna chance it and use that because there's a metal tip underneath it. But it's been holding up really good for your normal pushing. The other one is the Slide and Glide. That's all plastic right there. Very good for body lines. I don't use it too much on tanks though, but it's still a considerable, very good tool to push with. This is your latest metal tap down, excuse me, your rubber tap down tip. Just came out with Anson, but this is a very, very, very firm rubber tip. So you can use it with motorcycle tanks. I don't like to use this in the beginning because it's still firm enough to make high spots. So I want to get bulk of it. And that's why we're going with the lead tip. And you could use a rubber tip too as well, but just be careful. It usually burns through quick. Your leather tap down tip, another tap down from VIP, just awesome. Something you can use on everyday crowns. And of course, extensions to make your tips longer. So this is generally, I might be grabbing some other tools, but this is generally what I use on motorcycle tanks and pretty much a lot of daily PDR repairs. Now, here's what I do when I tap down when I'm going to be in front of a camera. Sometimes the angle's off, but even for myself, I use this. Now, this is the Daniel Grom hammer, and the reason why I like it is because it's way heavier than most of the hammers that you have out there. I also use a kind of a hybrid approach. I'm using the fast PDR tip, blending hammer tip. It's plastic. And last but not least, I want more heaviness and more weight is I use the Edgy Tools weight tap. These comes in different sizes and weights, but this one's perfect because I can choke up and it just really taps down really, really good for me. Now, paddles, I have all kinds of paddles. One of the latest ones I've been using right now is the VIP. This is the leather tip, as you can see, but I've been using the rubber tip quite often. And you can't tell, but it's been holding up really, really good. And so, yeah, this is what we're going to be using. It's got a good weight to it, and it's got a magnet on this side in case you want to put it on a car. But yeah, it's really good, and it's got a wooden round end on the handle. Okay, what else we got? Let's see here. Let's go take a look at the tank. All right, we're going to do a measurement here. Let's take a measurement. Perfect. That's about what I want. I'm going to turn this down just a bit. No, I don't want to. Yeah, it's pretty hot right there. 130. What did it say? Yeah, that's about right. That's 140. Okay, so we're going to make sure that's turned down. We don't want to have it too hot. Okay, so let's put in the. Let me change my camera angle. That way you guys can see what I'm going to be doing here while you guys are checking that out. So those lines, what you're staring at is how we're able to read the reflection. Let's do this. So here's my setup. We're going to use a there we go. Perfect. Just like that. And then what I'll do is grab here. I don't know if that's going to be, if this might be too big of an extension, but we'll figure it out. I didn't do a test fit yet. So that's my That's my setup. And that's how I'm leveraging, just like this, and pushing at the same time. Okay, I'm just going to double check my. I think I can go. I might be able to go a little bit longer extension here. Because what happens is that, just so you guys know, is, move out of the way. When I'm pushing, it's slightly coming towards me. So I'm at this angle. Actually, let me show you this way. I'm kind of like this angle. I want to be like this. I don't want to be pushing like this, because if I push, I'm sliding back. I don't want that. I want to push straight up, like direct. Now, when I push, it's going straight up. It's not sliding back. So that's why I'll add a little bit more extension. The gold extensions. You can get this at Anson too as well. Oh, the lead tips are at Anson now. The early ones used to be from Russia, and then you can't get them anymore. But Anson starts making them now. There, where am I going? Where am I going? There. You see that now? Okay. All right. I'm going to take a check on the, okay. I think we're good. Okay, that's better. So in case you guys want to know where I'm at, all right, I'm going to go probably in this section right here. Whoops. Right here. What I'm going to do now, here's the deal. Here's the light I'm using. The more I put it in, the more lines that look thicker. If I turn it out or thinner, right, they make them way thinner. Okay, but I'm going to bring it in. I'm going to turn this heat gun off because I don't want to melt my light too as well. So it's hot enough right now. And so I'm going to start pushing again from the top right here, and work it down. And generally you can push or tap down on the outside, but it needs some love. You see the flex? Controlling it. That's how I'm doing it, like that, okay? You can see the push too as well, in case you guys want to see, me applying pressure. This is about as hard. I'm pretty much leaning on this thing. It's giving tons of leverage on this thing right here, keeping everything balanced so nothing slips, because you have to put a lot of force to be pushing like this. It's pretty crazy. So that's how I'm doing. I'm leaning like this. Okay. Like that. That might be blocking some of that. All right. Let's go. All right. Take my time. These are very controlled pushes. It's very easy to want to push right here. I mean, want to go push right here in the center. And that's where you're gonna be doing a lot of cleanup at the end, and it's called regret cleanup. And I hold the push, and I relax the metal. Motorcycle tanks take a lot of time. So I'm gonna change my board again. I'm looking for the direction of the best way to see that dent for me. And then I'm gonna work, stopped right here. I'm gonna work from the bottom up. Okay. Work from the bottom here up. Now I'm gonna about put on some more heat, but look at this here. We're starting to see a lot more response from the bottom where it's not as tensioned. slowly bringing that reflection, or excuse me, the metal from the bottom towards the center. Because the more metal you bring from the outside, you bring in, I'm bringing metal from here, a little bit from here, a little bit from there, and then back over from here to here. Here's what you probably don't notice, right? You don't notice a lot of tensions around here and over here. We're going to get to that point. But right now, I'm taking the tension technically off of that by pushing, because it's what it's doing is help stretching the tension back towards the center. So turn this heat on just a little bit more. I want to get it to react. There's 3 reasons why you heat the tank up. Number 1, it creates flexibility in the paint. That's number 1. Number 2, it moves a lot better, right? It's very thick, so you want more flexibility in the steel. And number 3, you heat up not just the paint, you're heating up the primer, the base coat, and the metal. So all those 3 things help create a very more responsive push when you do that. But as soon as it starts cooling down, somehow, if you have a sharp point in the center and you get greedy and you start pushing the center too close, too fast, that's where you can break paint if you don't have heat on it. So I like to use some heat a lot on motorcycle tanks. We're going to push one more time here. And it's very tempting to get aggressive, right? Some guys are very aggressive pushers. And I used to be like that too. But I realized, man, why am I spending so much time in the end? Well, more than half of it is because you're not taking your time. Ask Joe Garcia. He's a take your time tech, dude. Okay, here we go. Now I'm gonna start changing the reflection again for me. Just a bit. I'm gonna chase a little bit over in this section here. Just want to apply some pressure. You should start seeing some movements pretty close now. Again, it's very easy to like skip your pushes. What I mean by that is when you're pushing, going down into the dent, when I'm doing it is, I'm at the top now, guys. And when I'm pushing, it's very easy to accidentally just go boom, 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 right? 3 steps, you're in the center. But what happens is you're creating stitch marks, like where your last push was high, where you bring it even. The next one, and then you got a low because you didn't contact that point. And so that's why you want to take your time. And I always change my board too. Like I see a little bit of tension. Actually, I see a lot right here. So I'm going to turn this off. We're going to do a little tapping down. And I'm going to move that. Like I'm going to move that away from my, I'm going to leave it there. You guys should have. I was talking about my, now here's where I'm going to tap down. You see this area right here? That's got a lot of tension here. Matter of fact, let me switch the tip because I want to go a little bit wider. I'm going to go leather tip, which you guys will see here. I'm going to read you guys. Phil Martin, oh my gosh, I got to put you guys on screen, man. Hold on a second here. Let me just see what we're doing. Let me see who's in the house, man. We got some good peoples here. Actually, everybody. Okay, so where we go. What about coating the inside of the tank? How do you replace that? You know what? It doesn't get messed up unless the tank is very, very old. And then that's not on me. That's on the person who's restoring the tank. So that's a good question. But as you can tell, the lead tip doesn't do any damage. I don't use sharp tools on a tank, by the way. It's way too delicate. Will you change different tip materials depending on the alloy of the tank? Absolutely, I will. Absolutely. Phil, what's going on? I'm still using the paddle you made. Oh, dude, he's got the OG. Yeah, that's a good one too. Nah, there's no more left now, Phil. Miguel, Yeah, come back with lives. Thanks, Miguel. Appreciate you, man. And Joe says there's no coating on the inside of Harley tanks, just bare steel. That's why they rust if the fuel gets set. That's cool. That is true. I've had some tanks have something behind it, but Joe's right. I haven't paid attention and I didn't notice, but he's actually right. There's no paint inside. So thanks, Joe, for chiming in, buddy. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this hammer with this tip, and this is a VIP leather tip. And this helps me knock down that crown. The light's going, hey man, don't move so much. And the reason why I'm tapping this is because, again, it's helping the tension that got stuck here. It's like a shock wave, man. When it's like a meteor hitting it, boom. And then what happens? The shock wave moves to the left, moves to the right. And that's the energy of the metal. Obviously, it can't blow off, right? So it's got to go somewhere. And we call it a shock wave held in time. So that is the shock wave where it stopped. I'm helping the shock wave dissipate back into the center. That's the point. And as a PDR tech, if you're learning, you're not trying to do it all in one shot. You're not trying to like knock out every single thing, because it's going to talk back to you eventually going, hey, I can't go anymore. You need to like go push now. So that's what I'm doing too, right? I'm just feeling it out. The further I go away from this, the more lighter it is. The more closer I go towards the center, the more shall I say, heavier of the hit I need to apply. The reason why I like this thicker, the one with the weight on it, is because I don't have, as you notice, I don't have to swing very far away. There we go. Starting to see it widen up right here. If you look, pay attention to the lines, you'll see it widening up. Okay. Look, I don't know if you pay attention, but just me tapping helps reduce the size of this dent, because the pressure is going from here over, right? It's starting to work this way. And what happens, it's like a hole. When you start filling up with dirt, what happens? The hole gets smaller. That's the same thing with a dent. That's why it's called pressure releasing out here. And that's why you don't get greedy trying to push, and you don't get greedy trying to tap. It's a teeter-totter balance. I'm not going to put any heat on it right now. I'm going to do a test in case you just joined me. I'm pushing a dent out on a motorcycle tank. All right, yeah, this already feels like it's reacting. I'm at the top of it, just making sure I have it right where I want. Be very cautious. And we'll go to the bottom part. Just testing a little different areas. What's more tender? What part of it is going to let me push it real clean? And it seems like the bottom. And just that topping down allowed me to get this far without forcing it. Like, you can get anywhere you want, but if you're forcing it, making highs and lows, you're not paying attention. And this is what we're doing here on this tank, making sure it's looking really good. We don't want to go in there and push unwillingly and then go, man, I made a high. Turn my board. All right, you can see it's starting to look pretty good. Did make a little bit of micro highs, a little bit here earlier, right there. No big deal. I don't see any mistakes around here. It's good. Minimize. You're going to make mistakes. There's no doubt about it. But are they going to be mistakes that take you a long time to fix? Okay. You guys still see? Yeah, you guys can. All right, cool. All right. This is where I can get a little bit more aggressive if I want, but clean. Okay, I'm gonna save that just a little bit last. I'm gonna go ahead and tap down again. So these are some of the tools that I've been using. I'll check out some. You could use a tool like this, tap down. You could use, where'd my other tap down tip go? You could use, that was a VIP. You could use the Galaxy tip like that. This is a little too soon because the more the dent is still low and still has wide crowns, you definitely don't be using this. It'd be like doing the same thing with using a sharp tip on a low spot, right? You'd make poke marks, and I don't want to make poke marks in, so I want to prevent that. Still gonna go with this though, right here. Still a little bit of, it's a lot tender now. Like I can, this is the hard part to get rid of, this crown out here. Really tough. You might talk about like like being unsure when you're pushing on a tank. Is you're like, holy crap, am I actually doing it right without whacking anything? You can still see, like we're gonna fix it, but I might not fix it all on camera, but it's because this part takes a lot. At least how skinny these are, these lines right here. That is what I'm going to spend most of my time right here, by the way. Not this. So I'll use more heat again. Let's see. I'll push this right here. Okay, Robert says there's no cut. Okay, yeah, we already talked about that. Thanks, Dent Evo. All right, cool. Do you also work on three lines light? You mean a fog and a lines? Yes, we do. Specifically on deep dents or hail damage. Hugo, what's up, dude? How you been? Okay, here we go. Back into it. Turn a little heat on. This is where I go through right here. I put a little template there. Actually, let me switch that so you guys can see a little bit more. I guess a more vantage point of what I'm doing. Okay, let's do that one. Yeah. I don't know if any of you guys ever had a, let's see what's happening here. Any of you guys ever have a heat gun burn? The freaking suckers. Sucks. Bad. Okay. Here we go. All right. Here we go. It's ready. I told you guys don't understand how much that tapping down does help. Huge amount. I know most of you guys are PR techs that are watching, but there'll be people here wanting to get their tanks fixed or interested in it, and they want to see the process. This is pretty much the most detailed process you're going to see because this is how it's done. And I get it. A lot of people, what they do is they show the highlights, but nobody shows the pain, right? Then they'll show the dents that they don't come out perfect or stuff that can really look like trash. All right, there. Now we're getting somewhere. We got a little bit of pinching, which we'll knock down. We'll probably use this tap down to knock down a little bit here. All right, and there's some a little bit over here and a little bit here. I can do it now. I'm going to switch tips, actually. Let's see if you... I think we're good on the heat. This is where I switch a tip. This is where I go the wooden ball. This is actually Glexo. This is Glexo right here. Their wooden tips are awesome. And they're great for creases. Great for creases. And finishing on steel tanks. I think I'm still gonna push. So I'm gonna push. Right there. Oh no, I can't get that in there. I don't take it off. I don't need it on there, but it would have been good. How about this? I'm gonna use the Dent Vision because I'm not gonna put a lot of heat. Sorry, this is the Dent Vision tip. This dice. Very interesting tip. Okay. Hugo, do you live on a fuel tank top, man? Like, yeah, I mean, do I go through it? I'm not sure what you mean on that, Hugo. Like, imagine it's understanding which way or direction the dent came from as the built-up tension goes. That's 100. Yeah, you could, Todd. That's true as well. Yeah, you definitely have to almost be an analyst, right? Like, how did the dent happen so you can kind of understand your better approach on things. I'm trying to give you guys the best look there. Now, let's go over some of the areas what we're talking about, right? The reason why I switched tips is because I really want to get a little bit more, fill in, push in some of these little low spots right here, right? A little bit here. See, the way I see it and the way you're seeing it the best way. I see it more detail through yours than me visually because I'm looking over. But regardless, using this tip. Oh, man. I forgot how good this tip is. This is my first time using it on a motorcycle tank, and hopefully I don't slip. You don't want to slip on these things. Push a little bit lower. I'm going to change for me. Let's tap down. Let's tap down. Hopefully I won't be in too much of your way. There we go. Now you don't want to do that. You don't want to like have your tap down off. You want it on the panel, on the tank. And the reason why it's doing that is because I've got a shock blocker. And so I'm just not used to let me just switch. For this, I just don't want to accidentally, metal panels, I don't mind. It's just on a motorcycle tank, I'd rather have more of a stable, just on a tank. Metal panels, I like it a lot. Rails, I like it. All right, this is what I'm going with. This is the VIP fatty. Sometimes it leaves little marks, but that's no big deal. That get buffed out. Now we're getting there. We still see some little bit of high spots. Like, where do we see them at? Yeah, there's some right here. Okay. So this is where it gets interesting. This is where it gets slow, right? We get a little slower. And if you look here, I have this tap down tip. Actually, no, push tip. I'm just going to use a push tip. This can be a tap down tip, but I don't mix them up. I dedicate these black tips for pushing on motorcycle tanks and body lines. I call it the midpoint. So if you ever hear me use the term midpoint, that's what we're talking about right here. This is a very, very effective tip if you know how to use it. And don't slip, you know, especially when you're using heat. And what this does is allows me to really pinpoint the smaller lows, you know, the more narrow low spots. Otherwise, I'm pushing more of the shoulders and not the low. So if that makes sense. Switch my board around. You notice I always turn my board as much as I can. Right? I'm looking for the juiciest, fattest parts of the low right there. And then I see tension here, which is going to help this. Let me tap that down. I just got to tap down a little bit more. You probably don't see it as good in the camera, but you're getting the idea. And choke up a little bit on heavier. Oh, now it's... I'm switch to camera 4 so you can see what I'm doing here. Tell if you don't get this, if you don't have this tip, this tip is freaking legit. It's that leather tip. You're not gonna divot, you know, the metal. It's really good for the crowns. It makes different sizes. Hugo sells one too, but it's a little bit bigger. Hi, Hugo. I'm sorry, Igor. Okay, so what I was doing is there was a crown up in this section right there, and I was just put it back down, right? So I guess I got overexposed on that one, but you guys get it. Now, I'll go in and start picking. And I might even turn the tank completely sideways so I can see much better too as well. But this, let me turn my hat around. Now, one thing I didn't tell you guys, I'm going to switch over, so I'll make sure. Ooh, that's what I was just going to tell you about. All right, hold on a second. I want you to watch my hand, okay? If you can see this hand right here. When you're going to slip, it's because your hand is just a little bit turned. That's when you slip. If you're not straight, pushing down like this, you're good. But if you have it tilted just a bit to the left or to the right, that's what happens. That's where it goes slippity slip. You don't want that. If you're afraid that's going to happen, what you want to do is take some gaffer's tape and tape it, and then you have a bit of some surface that's just not going to just slide. But it's not permanent, so be careful, especially if you're using heat. So be really, really careful about that. Okay, so you can tell it's coming out good. It's coming out nice and clean. I hardly had to tap in here and finish like anything that was Pokemon. We don't want that. And then I'll answer some questions in a second, guys. So don't think I'm not trying to ignore you, okay? Just trying to get the main part of the dent here. And I feel like when I want to go lower where the dent's at, but it's the tip is, I need to take some of the extension off of the end of the PDR tool. Notice I'm trying not to say anything pornographic, because you guys are really good at memeing the hell out of me, dude. Okay, now I shouldn't have said that, because now it's going to open up your radar. I'm actually going to go with another VIP tip, because I really don't want to slip. Now this is actually a slight rubber plastic. Look at the spike on that thing. That gives you a good look. All right. Okay. Oh, that's a good question here. So do you prefer paddle or hammer for tapping with knockdowns? Matt, actually, I prefer a paddle. It's just it's so, I know it's subjective, but if you guys want to know why, it's because with a paddle, you got options here. It's very hard to miss, first of all. Okay, so here is the sweet spot, right about there. Okay, sweet spot. If you want to go like heavier without swinging the paddle very far, then you back it up. You come hit here, because all the heaviness, the weight of the forward of the paddle is actually countering the more weight force, right? So that's another reason. If you want to go lighter, you're up here. You're right at the tip of that right there. Again, sweet spot. If I want to hit harder, I'm here. Plus, when I'm reaching, I got all this real estate to hit. Now, if you see other guys, they'll have a paddle or a hammer, and they'll turn it around and they use this. It's basically a paddle. It's a skinny paddle. For them, they turn it around, they use a skinny paddle, because guys like to use hammers like this. They like to use it like this, right? And I see the point, because it's kind of balancing it, right, in their hand. So it's total preference. And generally, how you were trained is how you're going to, finish that way, is using which paddle. Yeah, heck, I see guys who use, Walmart hammers, Sears, Craftsman hammers. I mean, they're all over the place doing that, using that, but it doesn't matter, really. It's just how good are you at striking it and understanding the different points. So I hope that answered your question. Maybe a little too thorough, but that's about it. Hey, Phil, what's going on? It's almost disappointed to get done, because the process is so enjoyable. 100%, Phil. Phil's it was a carpenter. I did some training with him, and gosh, I don't know how long ago was that, Phil? Like 8 years ago, 7 years ago? Can't remember. Good luck, Mike. You got this. You can do it. Thanks, Robert. Okay, so back to the pushing, right? So we're going to be using this tip right here. I don't think we need, there's no, here I see. I really can't see. I'm going to have to. You guys can see a little bit, but I can't really see I'm not going to try to push and blinding. Well, let me see if that. Okay. Let's see what you guys can see. Anything? Yeah? All right, good. Just pushing those little nitty gritties out. Let me get a different camera angle. Actually, you know what? Let's just adjust the whole shebang. You guys can see how I'm adjusting it. See if I can do that. Because I actually want to flip that tank more on its side. Put this away. Take the stabilizer away. This is what's cool. So he's got some pins in here. I actually just this a tiny bit. I'll tighten that just back up just for a second. You got 2 pins. Unloosen it. You see it rotisseries right there. Make sure nothing's in the way. Bang. I think we're good on that one. But what's cool about his system is that, yeah, that's about right there. Is that he's got all these little options for putting the pin in different positions so it locks. But you don't want, I wanted to have a little bit of play for this side. As you can tell, it's much easier to and now I have 2 safeties, right? We got a locking pin on both sides, and you've got this. And basically, it's pretty stable that way. You can actually, what I do is I'm dropping this. Put it there. Now we're stable again. By the way, I forgot to mention, if you are a line guy for any way, shape, or form, there's this Stucky light that just came out. It's basically a line vortex light. So it has auto suction pump too as well. Let's just turn this thing on here. See if it's got different colors. You can't really tell on the thing, but you got different colors, variations, and it can get really, really freaking bright. And it's legit. There's no dead spots on that. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, let's take a look. Actually, let's put this up. All right. So you notice, oh, that looks pretty good, man. You notice there's no shadows in the reflection. Like really good. I'm gonna take this one off because I don't need this heat gun anymore. So we're just gonna continue to push with this though. That's what I'm talking about right there. All right. Are you guys okay? You guys fine with this? Is there any questions you want to have besides? It can be PDR. It doesn't have to be motorcycle tank stuff either. Just kind of just showing you guys the steps of how I use that board. These are 1/8" lines too, by the way. So the more thinner the lines are, the more detail you're going to see in the pattern of the reflection. And that's why I have thin lines to go over the small areas that you see right in this here, right here. Okay. I know I haven't been on, YouTube's not rewarding me very much lately because I haven't been giving you guys as much love as I've been wanting. Okay. This is way more comfortable pushing in this environment than looking over with my back all messed up. So you guys can see that. That is how I'm actually fixing the dents. I'll look this way too. Still using that VIP Death Star, I think he calls it, tip. Yeah. So I'm not going to bore you guys with everything. I'll probably put the little bit of the rest. I'll cut this up. I just wanted to do a Saturday preview of what's going on, how we do motorcycle tanks. I'll definitely have this on my social media showing that the different parts of the dent. By the fact, there is a different dent on the other side that I have to film too. So I'll be working this weekend and fixing that and getting it delivered and shot and sent out for Monday. I'll stick around for a few more questions if you guys have some questions about possibly PDR or motorcycle tanks or what tools to purchase, things like that. If any of you guys want, I got some tools in my car from Anson. I have no idea what they are, some of the latest tools, but let me know if you want to see them. We can do that. First exclusive. Todd, thanks, dude. Appreciate that. And any advice on working with stretched metal? Yeah, Matt, you would like to, you should consider using a lateral tension system almost in every scenario that you have. Lateral tension, body lines, deep body lines, stretched dents, of course, big dents. You'd be surprised how much that helps because now you're not forcing tension. It's naturally getting rid of the tension for you. And, you know, it's lots of things to learn, right? It's not just, you know, put something up and stretch it out. You have to have a little bit of understanding about, you know, what it could go wrong too and when to stop and use that. But dude, you should use lateral tension anytime you have doubt, okay? I use lateral tension probably about 7 out of 10 times on complex repairs. Let's see here. 7 years ago, Phil. Thanks, dude. Well, geez, I appreciate that. That gentleman, he did freaking phenomenal. So, Phil, thank you, dude. Let's see. Plug for Mike's thumbs up. Thanks, Todd. Appreciate you, dude. Okay, so I guess that's going to be a wrap. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to get back on this tank. I'm not going to sit here and waste your whole Saturday filming something that slow and whatnot. But if you guys get a chance, subscribe, check it out. I do these videos like on the fly. I hardly ever advertise it. And I hope you guys found this thing had some value. So thanks again. Check me out on denttime.com. Hey, and if you want, you're a new technician, you want to learn PDR, check out denttrainer.com. All right. My name is Mike Toledo. I'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.